Hello there, friends and sane persons, and welcome to another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. My name is Kyle, and Wednesday Whimsy is a short show I do every Wednesday evening where I talk about a board game, a top 10 list, or some other board game related topic, whatever happens to be on my mind. As you will know, if you saw the last two videos, we are right in the middle of my top 100 games of all time 2025 edition, and bringing you more of 2025's top, well, this 2 year period, because I do it every other year, this current top 100 list. So we're going to be going through number 60 down to 41. We're getting into some really exciting games. Many of them I've talked about many times. Some are surprises that they're in this position rather than another. We'll talk about those more as we get there. As I sometimes have problems with this server, I'm just going to kind of tell you about the games. I don't know that I'll try and show anything, but let's get going. My number 60 is Cloudspire. Cloudspire. Cloudspire is a complicated game. It's from Chip Theory Games, so those two are synonymous. But in this game, you are playing the role of a faction, and you are sending forth your minions, and they're going to march up dumbly to try and pound on the fortress gate of your opponent. You also have some heroes, and the heroes you have more control over. You'll be able to move them, in any direction. And you're really trying to sort of manipulate those two levers in order to win the game. Now, each of the factions has a variety of different abilities, different units. There's 6 of them currently. I think there are some more coming from an expansion, but they're all really interesting and kind of weird. And it's a great game. It's a great 2-player game. It also works well solo. Doesn't work that well in other player accounts. But as a 2-player game, it can be really fun, especially once you know what you're doing and you know what the abilities are of your opponent and and yourself. You can really focus on kind of enjoying the gameplay. There's also this tower defense mechanism where you're building up these towers, spires, I guess, and they're going to sort of do automatic attacks on opponents. Opponents are going to try and take them out. A lot of things to explore here. Definitely not for the faint of heart, but it might even be the most complicated Chip Theory game. Well, actually, let's go on to number 59. Number 59 is the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, Test Botsy. This one might even be more complicated than Cloudspire. It is essentially a revamped edition of Too Many Bones with a sort of Elder Scrolls type theme. I've never played the Elder Scrolls video games, but this one's really fun. You're going to play a 3-scenario campaign, or just one-off scenarios, whichever you prefer. And you're going to take your character, you're going to be going out to doing a goal, and you're going to build up this character, and it's really fun. You can customize the character to be just about anything you want. You'll pick a race and a class, but then there's all these different abilities you can choose from, and you're going to be upgrading and changing. And it's just a really interesting game. Now, I will say, I think it shines at 2 players. I've played it solo a lot, but at 2 players, you really have a lot of synergy with your other player, right? They can sort of do throw things from the side, ranged character, and you can set yourself up as a big tanky orc, whatever you want. And it's sort of those synergies are going to allow you to kind of cover each other's weak spots. So I do enjoy it. I enjoy it solo. But I really love it with 2. It was a great game. It's one of the best games to come out this year. Already, and already. I mean, it was when it came out. Anyway, my number 59, The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. My number 58 is also not a light game. This game is Darwin's Journey. Darwin's Journey is a game that is loosely themed about Charles Darwin. You are he's you're kind of following around his journey through the Galapagos Islands. You're trying to collect species. You're trying to move on tracks. There's one track that's a boat. There's tracks on these islands. There are lots of ways to advance and move up, but sort of the fun hook of the game is you have a certain number of workers, but you're going to customize what they're good at. Each one starts sort of skilled in one area, but you can kind of get these little rubber seals or cardboard, depending on the version you have. Excuse me. These seals that are going to allow your worker to be more efficient in different areas. And once you've uncovered these or unlocked these seals for the workers, you're going to be able to have better and better turns. And so you have to decide, do you want to customize, do you want to diversify, and there's reasons to do both. There are lots of fun little goals that you're going to be unlocking and little bonuses along the way. There's really a lot going on in this game, especially with its expansion. It's a lot of fun. That's my number 58, Darwin's Journey. My number 57 is The Lost Ruins of Arnak. Lost Ruins of Arnak is a game that often is compared with another game, but it is really what it is it's a one half deck building game and one half worker placement game. And the theme is exploring some, lost temples and ruins. You're trying mostly to get points, though, and there's a bunch of different ways. Now, I am terrible at this game. I always lose this game, but I always have a good time with it. There's also a narrative story campaign you can play it all the way through. It was a lot of fun. It is a very beginner-friendly game, surprisingly. Even though there's a lot going on, the rules themselves aren't that complicated, and it's one of those games where you can kind of just try and do whichever of the things you want to do. There's always going to be a feeling of rewards, and then at the end, you might lose if you're me. There's also they have a great big box that just came out to store everything with some new maps. Lost Ruins of Arnak is a great game, and it looks good too. Well, let's go on to my number 56. My number 56 is a game that the first time I played it would not have come anywhere near my top 100 list. Marvel United. The base game for this was really quite disappointing. It was, a few heroes that kind of all felt the same, and 3 villains that kind of all felt the same. What this game needed was some expansions, and boy, did it ever get some. There are hundreds of characters, hundreds of villains and heroes, and I think that's remarkable because the villains obviously are what control the scenario, right? You're playing this particular scenario, this is your goal, and the fact that there are so many of those means that the game has a lot of life. The heroes themselves, they have at most small differences. I think the differences between one hero and the next are going to be, obviously the symbols that they have and maybe some of their special power cards, but they're not heavy differences. And I think that works to the game's advantage because you can really pick up and play just about any hero. The rules are simple. It's a great cooperative game. It works really well at 2 or 3. I don't know that I'd go up to 4, but some people might. It's also great solo. I really enjoy this game. I played it lots of times. I played every hero and every villain, but not every combination, obviously. There is so much stuff here. And so that sort of saved the game. I was going to cast it onto the scrap heap of history, but when all the new stuff came out for it, it really just breathed all the life this game needed. That is my number 56, Marvel United. My number 55 is Scythe. Now, Scythe used to be, I think, in my top 20. It might even have been in my top 10 at one point. Scythe is a great game. It's just a little old. I think it's probably all that this is here. I have lots of fond memories of Scythe, and I would gladly play it with somebody. It's one of those games that's so fun to show people. This game has great artwork. It's this alternate history, 20th century sort of World War I time frame where there are these huge robot mechs that are sort of doing farm work. And the artwork's fantastic. The gameplay is really interesting because you're trying to get stars, and stars are going to be worth points, and they're going to end the game. But the most fun part is you're going to upgrade your actions, and when you upgrade something, it makes every time you're going to choose to do a top action, a bottom action, and an upgrade is going to make both of those better. And I find that upgrade mechanism to be so fascinating. The game itself is really fun, especially once you get some expansions with it. There's a lot of variety in the different characters. It's really, it is the game that kind of made Stonemaier games. I know it's not their most famous game anymore. That's probably Wingspan. But this is the game that really solidified for me. I really enjoy Scythe, my number 55. My number 54 is Shadows of Brimstone. This one also used to be a little bit higher. This is one of the best dungeon crawl games that there is. You are some sort of old Western cowboy, normally, or you could be some sort of samurai type, or there's Vikings. There's a bunch of different things you can be, but sort of the core game is you're an old Western cowboy. You go into a mine, and it is riddled with monsters, and then you find a portal, and you end up in some other world. Maybe it's a volcano. Maybe it's the stomach of a monster. Maybe it's ancient Japan. Maybe it's a frozen hellscape. Whatever it is, you're kind of going in. There's missions you're trying to do. This is a real schlocky game, right? It's very luck dependent, but it's a lot of fun as you sort of go in and have just these wild, crazy adventures. It's my wild, crazy adventure game. Nothing is ever going to be the same, right? It's never going to be repeat. And there's so much content for this game. This is one that I really avoided for a while because you have to like put the figures together. But I played it at Gen Con a couple years ago, and I just fell in love and went, way into the deep end on this game. It's a fantastic game. I don't play it very often because it is a huge pain to set up, to take down, to store. In fact, everything about the game is inconvenient, but it's so much fun once you get into it, especially if you're willing to just kind of role play with your character and have a good time. Shadows of Brimstone is fantastic. All right, my next game is the one that kind of surprised me at how low it fell. And this is Sentinels of the Multiverse. This was for a while my number 2 game. So what is this game? First of all, it is a superhero game. It is one of the best superhero games. You're taking up a team of 3 or more superheroes up against a villain, and all the villains are really interesting and unique, and all of the heroes are fun and different, and they're so well developed and so enjoyable. And you're going to go up against this villain, you're going to take him down. There's also the Oblivion scenario, which is some sort of world-ending cataclysm, reality-ending cataclysm that's going to take hours and is going to require every last scrap of brain power. So I really love this game. It is one of my favorite games. Obviously, it's on my list. Why did it fall from number 2? Well, mostly because it's difficult to play. This game, I always say, it requires you to have a separate brain in a jar sitting on the table to keep track of all the math and the rules. And if this round I have +1 damage, but not against this character, and against them it's halved. And this one's immune to fire. There's just so many little things to keep track of that it really hurts the ability of this game to be played. Now, if I were playing it with 2 people who really love the game and know how to play it, it shoots back up to my top 10. But the way that I end up playing it these days is, a couple of wild strangers who are like, okay, I'll try this game. I've heard good things about it. And then everybody's like, oh my goodness. And if you're the person who knows how, you are responsible for running that thing, and it's so much work. Now, is the work worth it? Absolutely. There's also an app version that really takes away all the problem. But anyway, I'm not playing it quite as much as I used to be. But I still really love Sentinels of the Multiverse. All right, let's move on to number 52. Number 52 is another kind of schlocky fun game. This is Thunder Road Vendetta. This is a racing game, but it's a race in name only. You are racing through the wastelands, and you're trying to knock out the other players. You're shooting at them, you're crashing into them, hopefully forcing them into hazards or off the board. And ultimately, the game is going to end when someone crosses the finish line, but the finish line doesn't even appear until somebody has been eliminated. So someone's going down no matter what happens. This is just a fun game. There's not a lot of strategy in this. There's not a whole lot of, you can do. You really have to be in the spirit of, it's basically a roll and move game. And but it's a really fun one. And you're going to have these wild, crazy turns. And as long as everyone's able to kind of laugh and think, okay, this crazy thing happened. I crashed into you. You pushed back into me, pushed me over a ramp. I landed in some fire, and then I exploded. That's sort of the kind of thing that happens in this game. There's an expansion that's also pretty good, but the game itself, just even the base game, is just so much fun. And with the right people, this is just a perfect game to pull out and play without needing to give it a whole lot of thought. My number 52. My number 51 is a big winner of one of the Spiel des Jahres awards this year. This is Endeavor Deep Sea. Now, this one really shares the same spot as Endeavor Age of Sail. I just think the Deep Sea theme is a little bit more fun. What you're doing in this game is you've got a submarine and you're sailing out into the ocean, and you are trying to explore the deep sea. Now, there's 10 scenarios or so with the base game, and there's an expansion coming out. And, as you kind of go through all of these things, you're going to have a lot of content here. But what you're really trying to do is advance on these tracks. One track will give you access to better and better abilities. One track will give you access to more actions. One track gives you access to more of your submarines. There's just, there's these different things you're trying to do, and the rules themselves are simple. Turns are fast. You activate one thing, do a couple of things, and you're done. But the theme really comes across well as you're kind of delving down and exploring this ocean landscape. It's a really fun game. I really enjoy Endeavor Deep Sea. Let's go on to my number 50. Number 50 is Through the Ages. Through the Ages is another game I rarely play, and it's a game I probably never will play again at any count other than 2. This is a big, heavy civilization game. This is probably Vlaada Chvátil's masterpiece. It is a game about civilization. You're going to take your civilization from the Bronze Age all the way through modern times, but you do so in a very Eurogame way. You've got these clever little systems as you increase your population, it requires more food. As you build up more resources, that leaves more room for corruption. So you've got to upgrade them so that they're more efficient. And you're pulling things off tracks, putting things back on. There's wars and conflicts and buying cards and upgrading, and there's a lot of fun here. And the game just feels so civilization-y, but there's no map. There's no, kind of the normal trappings of a civilization game. It just distills the experience down to the most basic and fun level. I love the game, but it is long, it is very hard to teach, it is very hard to learn, and there's so much going on that you really have to play it with the right person. And that's why it does fall a little bit for me, but it's a lot of fun. I really love Through the Ages. My number 49 is another great game. This is Paleo. Paleo is a game about the Stone Age, and you are you're a tribe of cavemen. You're working together with the other players, and you're trying to accomplish certain goals. Ultimately, the goal of the game is to get 5 points to complete this painting, but the way you're going to do that is going to depend on the scenario. There's, 15 different decks, and you'll usually shuffle 2 together, sometimes 3. And you're going to go through this scenario, you're going to be exploring, and the way the game works is you'll draw 3 cards, you'll look at only the backs, and the backs give you a hint of what's on the other side, and you'll decide one to play. And then you'll do it again, and you'll do it again, and you're going to keep going through the deck, but as you learn what's on the other side of the cards, you become more knowledgeable about the world you're in. There's a great sense of exploration. Now, the game works best at 2. I will say that. It works okay at 3, and at 4, even the rules suggest not doing it. They suggest to play in 2 teams of 2. It is cooperative. It is a great cooperative game, and because of that, it's very easy to kind of teach rules. It doesn't look like much, I'll be honest about that, but it is such a fun experience. That's my number 49, Paleo. My number 48 is a dungeon crawler of sorts. This game is called Kinfire Delve. It is actually 3 small games. I think the Callus's Lab is my favorite one. That's the 3rd one, the green box. But they're all really fun. You're going to take a character. Each player takes one character, and your character is a deck of cards. You're going to come across these challenges. You do a challenge. You can play a card to help you with the challenge. It'll give you some special ability and some numbers. You'll roll dice. And your other players can play their own cards to boost you. Sort of, a weird mechanism to draw cards. You've got to take a fatigue. Is really bad. You're going to be trying to go through this deck of cards. Usually the reward for a successful challenge is to discard some cards off that deck, and you're going to get to the big boss. The big boss, each of them has, I think, 3 different versions. You're going to fight them. You'll either win, you'll lose. It's a lot of fun. It's not a complicated game. Rules-wise, it's very simple, but there's a lot of room to explore here. You can get the 3 sets, and you can kind of mix. You can take any hero. Each set comes with 2 heroes, and they can be cross-compatible across the games. You won't mix the scenarios. That would be weird, and they all have different bags anyway. But the game's a lot of fun. I really like Kinfire Delve. It's probably the best of the Kinfire series. Let's go to my number 47. My number 47 is Project Elite, a very stressful real-time game. This is a game where aliens are coming at you, and they are coming. And you're going to set a timer for about 2 minutes, and everyone's going to roll their dice and activate. Roll, activate, roll, activate. You're going to do this as quickly as possible. You're going to be moving around. You're going to be shooting the aliens. You're going to be throwing them off the board because they got to get out of the way. And then you're going to take a break. The aliens are going to sort of respond and move towards you, and then you're going to go again. There's objectives you're trying to do, but mostly you're trying to survive. And the good thing about this game is you can just, it's cooperative. Everyone's doing their own thing. This is a great game for people who have trouble making up their mind because it's so fast. no one has time to think about the perfect move. It is a little hard to teach because of that, because of course, there's going to be rules questions and you don't have a chance to solve them. You just kind of have to figure out how to deal with that. But it's a lot of fun. I really like Project Elite. My number 46 is the game I wish I had had as a kid. This is Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia. This is a game about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. You're going to take on a team one player is going to take 3 heroes, the other one's going to take 3 villains, and there's different rules. Not always 3, but there's different rules for the different sides. One player is running a team, and the other one is running a couple of individual heroes. Doesn't really matter. You can, I think, do 1 to 4 characters on one side, and then always 3 on the other. Anyway, there's objectives you're trying to accomplish. But there's just about every character you can imagine in this game. This is He-Man, the board game. The theme is so strong. The rules are fun. It's a vibrant, kind of lively game. Back and forth, great 2-player game. I really enjoy this. There's another one, the Fields of Eternia, that's terrible. Came out at the same time, nearly the same title, but Clash for Eternia, it just sings. It is a perfect He-Man game. My number 45, I talked about Sentinels of the Multiverse a few minutes ago. Freedom 5 is an iteration of Sentinels of the Multiverse. That's not quite fair. It's going to take all of the characters from Sentinels of the Multiverse and put them into this different game. And the different game is sort of a pandemic-like game. It's really a revamped version of Defenders of the Realm. You are going to take your hero. All the heroes are different and do their own thing. And you're going to go try and take out a couple of bad guys. There's a story that you're playing through. But ultimately what you're doing is moving around the board. You're playing cards to activate various special abilities. When you're trying to collect sets of dice of a particular color so that you can go after one of the bad guys. And almost all of the characters from the Sentinels of the Multiverse world are in here in some form. They really went in deep in trying to make this world come alive in this game. Now, the board is huge. The rules are kind of messy at times, but it's a lot of fun. I really like this. It's not going to be for everybody, but if you like a good cooperative pandemic-style game and want something different, the superhero theme really comes across nicely for you. And if you enjoy the Sentinels of the Multiverse, this is the game for you. I really like Freedom 5. My number 44 is Andromeda's Edge. Andromeda's Edge is a re-implementation of a game called Dwellings of Eldervale. I have to be careful with the title. I always want to say it wrong. Dwellings of Eldervale. Basically, it's also a lot like Manhattan Project Energy Empire. It's a game where you're going to place workers, and then do a pullback turn. And that's kind of the core mechanism, but what you're doing here is exploring the galaxy. And you're trying to build up this network of abilities so that when you pull things back, it does a lot of things for you. You're going to be trying to build these buildings out there that will score you lots of points. There's I don't know how many different factions, each with their own unique abilities, unique ships, unique upgrades. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot going on here. It's a huge game in a huge box, and it came with a very thoughtful insert that's completely useless. I had to print my own, but the Andromeda's Edge, it's great. It's largely replaced Dwellings for me. I think it is a slightly better game, if for no other reason that the end game is a little bit cleaner. You play until someone gets to a certain number of points, rather than this concept of every time you do a certain action, you have to pull out a tile and then those are gone. It's just generally cleaner, and it looks great, and there's a lot of fun to be had with Andromeda's Edge. Keeping up with the space theme, here we have a very dry space game. This is Pulsar 2849. 1,000 years after the gold rush in California, we're having a gold rush in space. And this is a game about dice usage. There's not that much theme on it, to be honest, but there's a lot of things you can do. You can race around the galaxy. You can build up your own technologies. You're going to be drafting dice, doing different things with them, and it's about getting points. It doesn't look great. I don't know that the theme comes across, but the gameplay is so much fun. I always love it when I can get out a copy of Pulsar 2849. All right, just 2 to go. The first of them, my number 42, is Pagan Fate of Roanoke. Pagan Fate of Roanoke is a 2-player asymmetrical game. It is a weird one. It doesn't really feel like anything else. It's an asymmetric deduction style game. Basically, one player is playing a witch and is going to be using worker placement to try and spread influence over these villagers. That player has one character that's their own secret identity, and their goal is to get a certain number of these hand tokens, these influence tokens on it, so that they can then do one of their actions to win the game. The other player is a witch hunter and is trying to prevent that from happening and also figure out who that witch is. And they're building up a network. Unlike the witch is sort of, having to use all the resources they put in. They put in, they get out, they put in, get out. This guy's just trying to build up a network and then just maximize it. And it's a really interesting game because the knowledge curve shifts in an odd way. At the beginning of the game, the witch is controlling everything. And as the game goes by, the hunter is going to slowly get in more information, and the witch does not know what information the hunter has. And so there's this interesting double think going on. There's a lot of expansions. I don't know that it really needed all of them, but as it is, it's a lot of fun. It doesn't look like much. It's a little hard to learn, and I wish the symbols in it had been a little bit better, but it is a lot of fun. I really like it, and I love both roles. Pagan Fate of Roanoke, a great two-player game. And the last one, a game, this is the first time this has been on my list, but I've played so much of it this year that I fell back in love with it. And this game is Regicide. Now, Regicide is a game that you can play with a regular deck of cards. You are all the cards ace through 10, and you're trying to kill the jacks, kings, queens. And you're going to be playing a card. It does damage. It activates a special ability. Then you take damage back from that face card. It's very simple. It works well two-player. I love it two-player. I've played it the most two-player or solo. It works fantastic solo. I also played Regicide Legacy this year. I played through that with my friend Victor. We played through the whole game and had a fantastic time. It's just basically Regicide, but it's a nicer version of it. This is a game not to sleep on. It's very simple with rules. You can essentially play it for free because you can find the rules online and just play with a deck of cards. However, the Regicide Legacy set is a great set because it has a board for tracking things and the cards have their values printed on them, so it makes things a little easier. The special abilities are fun, learning to balance them, the sort of weird communication that you're going on. You're not allowed to communicate about your hand, but you need to work together with your partner. There's no automatic way to draw cards, and so that's kind of weird. And it's sort of learning the cadence of when to play different kinds of cards and what's useful in these situations. Regicide is just so much fun. I have easily played it 50 times this year, maybe even more. And it's a game that I just don't think about when I'm thinking of my favorite games, but it's one I'm always in the mood to play. So it definitely belongs on my list. And that is my number 41. And that's going to do it for the third of my five top 100 lists. We'll be back next time for number 40 through 21. So the fourth installment. I have some more great games to talk about. I'm going to end it here, though, because we're already a little bit on the long side. So I'm going to wish you safe travels, courage when you need it, and I hope to see you back again next time for another episode of Wednesday Whimsy. Bye-bye.